The states reached a deal when it comes to Marcellus Shale. I'm Jill Horner. This is Comcast Newsmakers. With me is Pennsylvania State Representative Chris Ross. Thanks for being with us.
Good to be with you, Jill.
This has been an ongoing conversation in the Commonwealth under two governors at this point, but
Yes.
a deal has been reached as to an impact fee for Marcellus Shale. Let's talk a little bit about how this compromise actually addresses some of the concerns. So not a compromise that
Right.
everyone is happy with, but a
Exactly,
compromise
yeah.
nonetheless.
Yeah, I think there were two main areas that we were concerned about. One is, first, what kind of environmental protections did we need to institute in law? We'd been relying on various regulations up till now, but we wanted to make sure that we had good protective setbacks for houses, for streams, for water sources, for a variety of other uses, and that we made them uniform across the state to take advantage of what we need to do to protect the environment. That was number one as far as
And these are the setbacks for the actual wells.
Setbacks, among other things, yes. And also what kind of fines we would have in there, and a number of other things to make sure that we held the industry accountable on the environmental issues. There's been a broad misunderstanding that municipalities actually currently have the power to do this. And I'm not saying that some municipalities haven't tried to exercise that through ordinances, but the 1984 Oil and Gas Act explicitly forbids them from taking any kind of ordinance actions that would restrict the industry. So in fact, they would be successfully challenged in court under that law. So we needed to give some tools to protect the environment, certainly in those areas where there is no zoning already, but even in the areas where they do have zoning, to give them some extra backing, which I think we've done in this bill in a reasonable way.
And that's one component of this. Now talk to us a little bit about potential money in this
Yes.
for environmental purposes. Will money go to local communities where drilling is taking place? And what about money for areas where drilling is not happening?
Yes, and that's been a vexed issue because there were no tax pledges made by some members, not myself, but others, and a lot of concern about who should be getting benefits off of this and under what circumstances. First, the local municipalities in the areas where there are the greatest impacts are going to be, first of all, receiving funds, as they should, to offset some of the costs that they would otherwise be having, whether it's roads, emergency services, problems they're having with housing because of the influx of new people, or whatever. But in addition to that, some of the revenues are being taken back to the state, both for state roads, but also for broader purposes, some of which I think are really beneficial. We're getting a steady stream of revenue out of this now for the conservation districts down even in my area that do great work protecting the streams and reducing sediment erosion. Then also for the Environmental Stewardship Fund, popularly known as Growing Greener, which again does a lot of good environmental work and protection of lands and saving open spaces. And then finally also the Hazardous Sites Cleanup Fund, which is our emergency backup fund if we can't recover off of the spiller of an overturned truck or something. We have this fund to make sure that we have the resources necessary to protect the environment and to clean up problems. That source of revenue that had been designated for it is going away. It was a tax stream that's been shrinking, and so we now have a new set of funds available to make sure that we have sufficient funds so that we can respond to an environmental problem like that.
There has been an argument that this fee that is now in place was not set high enough compared with other states that do have a structure in place to have a fee or a tax in place when it comes to the extraction of natural gas.
Yeah, and there's no obvious, completely successful or uniformly agreed upon answer to this question. I would have been willing to support a higher fee. This one was compromised on. But I would point out that we have a lot of other taxes that we levy against those that are involved in this industry, corporate and personal and sales, that other states don't have. So it's a little difficult to compare state to state anyway.
Thanks for being with us.
My pleasure.
We've been talking with Pennsylvania State Representative Chris Ross. I'm Jill Horner.